Alright, I'm going to be exploring GeoGebra. To get here, you just go to geogebra.org, press enter, it takes you to this page that we're at. You start graphing, and it takes you right to the graphing calculator. Here you have, whenever it shows up, there should be a keyboard that pops up. Here's the option. In here you have your variables, your symbols, some basic symbols, your numbers, your operations. You have trig operations and inverse trig. You can see all of these functions. This thing integrates and it takes derivatives. Here you can use e, raise e to something, gives you a specific value for e also. And here we have more letters, I guess a keyboard, and some symbols. So here I'm just, let's do e to the x. Why did that not? E? Oh, because it's not on the function. So e to the x, and then there's the exponential function. Let's go back to here and just put something like y equals 2x. A basic line. We can maybe play with this one just a little bit. Here you have your tools in the middle, so you can play around, you can add points, and it labels them nicely, A, B, C, D. No matter how they come out, it comes out in order. You can calculate a best fit line, but to do this you have to select the objects first and then pick that, which I think is kind of messy, but you can't hit this. And then you have to hit move again. After playing with some, you have to hit move after pretty much every tool, or else it'll still be on that tool. The line of fit, it's dynamic, so it moves as you move the points. Let's go down here. We can make lines, whether it's segments or an actual line or array. You can even make vectors. Here you can make circles with a center. You click once and it's the origin, you click another time and it's the radius. Or you can make a semicircle. Same deal as this circle, you just click once, gives you one endpoint, and you click again and it gives you the other endpoint. And then let's add a segment here. If you add a segment, it locks onto the object, so here it's locking onto the circle, as you can see, which is helpful if you need some work with circumscribed angles or shapes maybe. Here you can use this to measure the angle. You select 3 points or 2 lines. So let's see if I have, what if we just select this and this? That was an interesting one. Let's actually let me make an angle real quick. And then you can measure this angle by selecting a segment and a segment. Up and then go back up and hit move. And then you can tweak this angle as much as you need to. It updates in real time to a very large decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal places. You probably won't need anything that accurate or that precise. So this is not excessive, but it's more than what you'd need. You can construct midpoints or centers by selecting 2 points, a segment, or a circle. Let's just select these 2 points. And there you see midpoint is W. Me clicking again made it change. I don't know what z is at this point. It might have just made an extra midpoint because you have to select back to the move after every tool, which I keep forgetting. Yeah, and then that's about all the main tools. You can find area if you select the shape that you make, or your circle, since I already have one. And there you see a circle. Go back up to move. And then you find the area of this circle. So the area of this circle is 12.56637, so on. And let me select objects. And you can delete this because it's getting really messy to play around with. It takes more than one step. I've noticed, I think there's a limit to how many things you can erase at once, possibly. Go back to move. We can look at functions. So let's look at y equals 2x. Enter. Y equals -3. Enter. X equals 5. Well, let's do 4. Just to get ourselves a nice triangle there. Because you can play with the graphs as you did, like as you make it, you can play with the graphs. So now you can go back to the tools and edit this graph however you want to. Like if you want to measure an angle, you should be able to select 3 points or 2 lines. Select this line, select this line. And it measured the wrong angle. So let's select objects and delete this angle. And let's try measuring this one and this one. There we go. And then you have the inside of this one. You know, this is a right triangle. So it's add up to 180. But I think a faster way to actually finding the area with this triangle would be to just hit more and you can find polygons. And then you can make one if you'd like. And then you can find the area of that one. I think I messed it up and it's going to be really sloppy. It looks reasonable. So this triangle would have this area. Next we're going to talk about all the other things, as it's been about 7 minutes. So we want to just identify technology availability and ordering information. Well, this one you just go to geogebra.org, you hit start graphing, and it'll start you off right away. It's free and pretty easy to use. It's similar to Desmos. This works like a basic graphing calculator like Desmos, except this is not, I don't think this is as neat as Desmos. It organizes itself and lays everything on like middle of the screen. Like instead of placing this out here somewhere where it'd be a little neater, it just lays everything on top of each other almost. And it looks kind of overwhelming. It could really be sloppy if the student is not very careful. This technology is a graphing calculator, so its main purpose would be to interpret graphs and study them, examine them very closely, look at intercepts, find areas. You can make shapes and find their areas. This would be used to enhance because it provides visuals. In class, students could solve for a variable and find equations, but they don't really know what they're doing until they explore with the actual graphs of the functions. I would recommend this to a school, but I would recommend this mostly for Math 1 or 2 when they're first learning about graphs and intercepts and things like that, because although this calculator did have a derivative function, it is still very precise with its graphs, so it would help students see everything that they need to see for this, for any function, honestly, for multiple functions, since you can do infinite functions if you keep going. And that's about it.